Your sausage dog probably isn't as much of a knobhead as you think he is. And keep watching, because I'm going to tell you how to turn him into less of a dick. So before we judge him for doing what he was born to do, which was bark his little lungs out, we need to ask ourselves a few questions. So we're going to look at breaking it down into 3 parts: engagement, leash pressure, and a conceptual understanding of what heel means. So to begin with, I want you to stop walking your dog. At the moment, your dog probably goes on the same loop every day, and he probably is used to sniffing the bushes over here, kicking off at the dog over here, sniffing the shit over here, and probably pulling you towards the birds over there. Throughout his whole walk, pretty much none of his fulfillment from that walk comes through you. So why would our dog give a shit about walking next to us when none of his fulfillment on the walk actually comes through us? Nor does any sort of direction on how he needs to go through his daily walks. So this is why it's really important that before we do any of this, we start to build a real relationship with our dog first. And that doesn't come through cuddles on the sofa or just handing out treats willy-nilly. And don't get me wrong, I do both of those things with my dog. But he has a conceptual understanding of yes, so he knows what he's done right. He has a conceptual understanding of no, he knows what not to do and that there will be a consequence for doing it. And he knows that we have a real outlet between us, and he gets fulfillment from me through play. Most people never have these 3 things with their dog, and ultimately it's detrimental to their relationship and is normally the cause for behavioral issues that they see in their dog. So if you want to hear me talk a little bit more about leash pressure and the understanding of heel to get your perfect loose lead walk, then go hit up my YouTube channel and I'll be talking about it more over there. So leash pressure. So far in your dog's life, they've probably never had an understanding of what leash pressure means. They've probably been on a flat collar or a harness or any sort of collar, and they've been used to just pulling through it. And as the dog pulls forward, your arm goes forward and lets them go a little bit further. Or they pull this way and your arm goes this way and they pull a little bit further. And they've never really understood what that pressure means for them. Or, more importantly, how to turn it off. Just like any pressure that we use in dog training, it's really important that your dog knows how to turn it off. Your dog is inevitably going to feel pressure at some point in his life. So if he knows how to turn it off, it takes away his stress, it takes away your stress, and we can walk along happily ever after. So how do we teach leash pressure and how do we help them understand how to turn it off? So we use something that we call negative reinforcement. So what that means for the dog is that he'll feel a little bit of pressure on the lead from you. He then has an opportunity to turn that pressure off, so giving into the pressure and coming towards you, at which point he will get rewarded for that. Negative reinforcement also makes the task more important to the dog and therefore more fulfilling to the dog. If you think about someone who plays video games, they don't want to stay on level 1 forever because it's too easy. They win time and time again. We want to progress the next level and progress the next level because it's difficult, and therefore we'll get more of a dopamine rush when we get it right, which is why it's really important that we apply negative reinforcement into our training. So in simple terms, what I want you to do is have a lead on your dog, move away from your dog, and apply a little bit of pressure on the lead. As your dog gives into the pressure and turns towards you, I want you to deliver your terminal marker. So yes, let him know that what he's done is right and pay him in at you. So once we have the basics of understanding the leash pressure, we can then advance that to doing the inside turns and the outside turns, and applying a little pop pop as we turn if the dog isn't paying attention, just to let him know, hey, you need to pay attention to us, and the leash pressure is going to go on if not. And this is not what I want you to spend your walks doing. This is what I want you to practice away from the walk. I'm going to write it here just so we all know, away from the walk. Or you can practice it on the walk if you're going to stop over somewhere and just spend some time practicing this. But I don't want you to spend your walk doing inside turns and outside turns with your dog, because ultimately he's going to be more interested in sniffing over there or sniffing over there. So the main part of your walk, I want you to do what we just did and practice the engagement. So not just walking your dog around the street, but taking them out and doing something engaging and relationship building with them. Adding into that, I want you to practice the leash pressure. And then on top of that, we're going to practice the understanding of what heel means. When I'm out walking my dog, he probably spends around 5% of his walk in a heel. We use it if we need to go past another dog or some geese or a cyclist. But overall, our relationship is good enough that he knows his yes comes from me, he knows his no comes from me. So even if we're on a lead, it's in his best interest to not be too far. And on top of that, he understands leash pressure. So if he does come towards the end of the lead and he feels pressure, he knows how to turn that off. However, sometimes we do need to use a heel. So where you need to start is we need to be practicing our lure with our dog. So having your piece of food and being able to lure them into that heel position and walk alongside them. It's really important that when we do that, it's in really, really small increments or small periods of time. So as we walk along with them and we've lured them into our heel, and we might take 2-3 steps to begin with and then deliver our terminal marker, so our yes marker. As we deliver that marker, it's really important that they understand you did well, that was a good heel, and now you don't have to do that heel anymore. We've broken that. So I'd always step back and move away from the heel as we deliver our terminal marker. So to get a loose lead walk, what do I actually need to practice? Well, you need to practice building your relationship. Is the number one thing that everybody misses, and it's the number one thing that will help your loose lead walk. Second of all, you need to practice leash pressure. Your dog needs to know how to turn it off. If they haven't got a clue, then they're just going to pull through it until they're blue in the face. So they need a really good understanding of how to turn it off. And finally, you need to practice luring the heel. Luring them into that heel position with the treat, having really small periods of time whilst you're paying them in that position, and then break it with a yes, let them know that that's what you're after. We don't need to be asking them to heel all the time. That's not important. We just want a good relationship, an understanding of leash pressure, so that they're not just pulling against the lead all the time. And then when we need it, that's when we'll ask for our heel. So your dog doesn't need to heel constantly on his walk around the block. It's not realistic. I don't ask my dog to do it. I won't expect your dog to do it. He just needs a good understanding of leash pressure and a relationship with you where you can say, hey, stop doing that. So if you found any of those tips useful, please subscribe, and hopefully we'll have lots more content to come. Thank you. So before we start calling him the stubby leg devil dog, let's ask ourselves, does he have something else worthwhile to do? Something where he can get his fulfillment from. This could be a game of tug. It could be sniffing for his food in the garden. But at the moment, he probably only ever gets an outlet from booting off other dogs. So let's start off by giving our dog an outlet. Then we need to ask ourselves, well, does he actually have a conceptual understanding of the word no? Has he ever had any consequences for his actions? Does he actually know that booting off at other dogs is something bad? And have we ever advocated for the fact that he's a real dog and he doesn't always enjoy being passed around the pub or made to go say hi to every single dog he sees just because he's cute? And to follow on from that point, have we ever treated him like a real dog? Or have we turned him into the barrel sausage dog that we most often see walking down the street? Have we been able to build some sort of food drive with him, or a play drive, or something that can make him feel like a real dog? So, to summarize, treat your sausage dog like he's a real dog and give him an outlet, build some drive, have him do some of the awesome things that he's capable of doing. And you'll see these devil horns turn into a beautiful halo, and everyone will still love him down the pub.
Yes, good girl. I'll be cheapest in an hour. Yes. Get it?
Yes.
Good.